This is Atlantic Television Network. Welcome to Global News. First, the highlights. River State Governor Siminalayi Fubara defects to APC. Tinubu orders rescue of 115 pupils in Niger State. Senate approves troops deployment to Benin Republic. CBN approves 82 licensed BDC operators in Nigeria. ECOWAS declares state of emergency. Osimhen set for Monaco clash. Mohbad's father seeks transparent testing. And now to the rest of our stories. River State Governor Siminalayi Fubara has defected to the ruling All Progressives Congress from the People's Democratic Party. The governor declared his defection at a stakeholders meeting held at the government house in Port Harcourt on Tuesday and joined a host of his colleagues who have defected to the APC this year. This is coming after President Bola Ahmed Tinubu on Monday met separately with River State Governor Siminalayi Fubara and the Ebonyi State Governor Francis Nwifuru at the State House, Abuja. The engagement held behind closed doors came amid mounting political tension in River State and renewed speculation over Governor Fubara's future in the People's Democratic Party (PDP). Fubara was sighted entering the State House at about 5:01 p.m. and was received by the Presidential Protocol Liaison Officer before proceeding to the President's office.
To hear from him, and more especially in this meeting, that I had to arrange so urgently. But the meeting is going to end in a very sweet information. You are aware that I went to see Mr. President yesterday, and the reason why I went for that visit is not just a personal visit, but a state interest consultation. I don't want to make any mistake this time around. I wish also not to step on any landmine that anyone is laid for us. So I was with Mr. President yesterday to brief him on the situation of things in our state, which I believe he has taken note and is going to act swiftly on it. But the most interesting part of the meeting is that what you all have been waiting for, what you've been asking me, the signal has finally arrived. So Mr. President is to support him. In isolation, and we can't support Mr. President if we don't fully identify with him, not backyard support. So we have taken that decision today since we've gotten a pass. Everyone here who have followed me, who have suffered with me, our decision today, this evening, we are moving to APC.
Institute of Corporate Governance, Employment and Human Resources Management has inaugurated Chief Right Honorable Dr. Chinyere Igwe and Professor Okechukwu Onochukwu, Pro-Chancellor and Chairman Governing Council and Vice-Chancellor respectively of Ignatius Ajur University of Education as patrons of the Institute. ATN completes the report.
The Institute of Corporate Governance, Employment and Human Resources Management, ICGERM, has inaugurated Chief Retired Honorable Dr. Chinyere Igwe and Professor Okechukwu Onochukwu, Pro-Chancellor, Chairman Governing Council, and Acting Vice-Chancellor respectively of Ignatius Ajur University of Education as patrons of the Institute at the 2025 Corporate Governance Management Lecture, Dinner and Special Induction Ceremony, with the theme Contemporary Issues in Corporate Governance and Leadership in Nigeria, held at the Algate Congress Hotel, Abacha Road, Port Harcourt, over the weekend. In his speech, Dr. Igwe commended the leadership of the Institute for providing a platform that promotes institutional growth, stakeholder engagement, and rule of law, which are pillars of sustainable development. He further urged members of the Institute to drive the spirit and principles of corporate governance.
Representative of this noble association, as evident by Mr. President, Professor Jude Walker, I congratulate you and your team for what you're doing, because you are helping to change the narrative in the Nigerian society. I'll congratulate all of us for being part of history making. We have made history today by being part of those who have brought corporate governance to Nigeria. Some of us.
Also speaking, Professor Okechukwu Onochukwu, Acting Vice-Chancellor of Ignatius Ajur University of Education, stated that effective governance requires a strong board of directors, clear accountability, and well-defined responsibilities.
That you're here, to change things, to ensure, that corporate governance structure, wherever place you find yourself, is properly established and is followed. And you know that one basic thing that drives corporate governance is the rule of law. If everybody, maintains and obeys the law of any organization that is established, it means that, things will run smoothly.
Earlier, Chairman of the Occasion, Honorable Solomon Abuba, represented by Dr. Prince, underscored the relevance of the program, adding that it is designed to strengthen institutions, enhance leadership competence, and uphold key corporate governance principles for effective management.
Good governance is the foundation of public trust, and they also believe that effective management is the engine of development, and responsible leadership bridge between vision and reality. This event provides a platform to learn, share experience, challenge old assumptions, embrace new tools that strengthen leadership structure. Far too often, governance discussion stop at policy and compliance, but real governance goes deeper. It touches on behavior, ethics, digital transformation, risk intelligence, and the culture that defines how an institution truly works.
The keynote lecture delivered by Professor Chris Akpotu, lecturer, Department of Management, Niger Delta University, defined corporate governance as a framework of structures, systems, processes, and relationships that guides and regulates an organization's operations to achieve optimal performance and long-term sustainability.
Corporate governance essentially is about frameworks of structures, systems, processes, and relationships that will help organizations in the area of directing and controlling the organization towards achieving the desired level of performance and ensuring sustainability. That is basically the focus of corporate governance.
Chief host of the event and the President, Institute of Corporate Governance, Employment and Human Resources Management, Professor Jude Nwoka, explained that the initiative is aimed to examine emerging issues in corporate governance and human resources management, with the objective of recommending practical solutions that can support government agencies, public institutions, and private organizations.
Dinner and industrial ceremony is the most prominent of many programs and activities of the institute. The corporate governance management lecture now will present the institute the platform to discuss current issues of corporate governance and human resources management with a view to providing solutions to government, public and private institutions to help move the nation and their sector forward.
Key highlights of the event includes presentation of an award of honor to Dr. Chinyere Igwe, Professor Okechukwu Anuchukwu, induction of fellows and new members, presentation of certificates, goodwill messages, and a sumptuous dinner hosted by the President, Chairman of the Council. I am Alawuru Praise, ATN News Port Harcourt.
Anambra State Police Command has commenced investigation into the attack by armed hoodlums who carried out separate attacks that killed no fewer than 6 persons in 2 communities in the state on Sunday at St. Andrew's Anglican Church, Isiokwe, in the Lilu community of the Ihiala local government area. The attack, which took place in the early hours of Sunday, resulted to the killing of 2 persons, burning vehicles, and setting ablaze the cleric's apartment and parts of the church building. The premises and surrounding area appeared deserted, with properties seen littering the places, while some eyewitnesses and residents who confirmed the attack said the attack in the early hours of Sunday disrupted church activities and created widespread panic. The spokesperson for the State Police Command, Tochukwu Ikenga, confirmed both attacks in separate statements, adding that 4 persons were killed in the violent attack near Afo Market Junction in Northia, while 2 persons died in the church attack. He attributed the market attack to cult-related violence, adding that the police command, on the orders of the Commissioner of Police CP Ikoye Orutogu, had launched an investigation into both incidents and was working to apprehend the perpetrators. African Action Congress has condemned the December 7, 2025 gunmen attacks on residents in Northia community in the Eji-Kokak local government area and the church in Lilu Ihiala local government area of Anambra State, saying it is unacceptable and calling for immediate action. A statement released on Tuesday, the State's Publicity Secretary of Party, Anyanwu Chinedu, said the state government must prioritize security reforms, community engagement, and economic empowerment to address the root causes of insecurity. Chinedu urged the authorities to take decisive action to protect citizens and bring perpetrators to justice, adding that findings have shown that armed hoodlums have intensified their nefarious activities in the state in recent weeks, digging deep into both the rural and urban communities. According to the party, Findings have shown that armed hoodlums suspected to be kidnappers have intensified their nefarious activities in the state in recent weeks, digging deep into both the rural and urban communities, adding that the security forces may be aiding and abetting the hoodlums who perpetrate these dastardly acts without any hindrances. This is coming after the Anambra State Police Command confirmed that 4 persons were killed in a violent attack that occurred on Sunday near the Afo Market Junction in Northia community in Jikoka local government area of the state. While the spokesman for the Anambra State Police Command, Superintendent of Police Tochukwu Ikenga, blamed the attack on rival cult clash. Enugu State government has declared plans to restrict the operation of tricycles, yellow buses and minibuses on 5 major roads across Enugu City. This is to give way for the implementation of the state's bus rapid transit system, which residents have refused to use since it was launched several months ago. The Commissioner for Transport, Dr. Obi, also said the plan to restrict operations of those buses and tricycles was reached during a consultative meeting with transport unions and stakeholders at the ministry's headquarters, and also listed the affected traffic corridors as Okpara Avenue, Abakaliki Road, New Haven Junction, Naira Triangle, Emene Airport, Ogui Road, Chime Avenue, Naira Triangle, and New Haven Junction, Bisala Road, Rangers Avenue, Wayak, Mpokiti, Zex Avenue, and several others. With designated routes, the statement said it means that apart from private vehicles, commercial transportation within the state capital has been taken over by the state government, and it will become dedicated BRT routes in line with Governor Peter Mbah's vision to reposition Enugu as a modern, multimodal and globally competitive city. Dr. also argued that tricycles were never designed for high-speed highways, stressing that their presence on such routes disrupts traffic flow and puts lives at risk, adding that the government has procured 200 CNG-powered BRT buses alongside 4,000 electric taxis to be assembled locally at Anamco in Enugu, with the first 1,000 taxis ready within 3 months. Lagos State government has celebrated 17 retired permanent secretaries at a pens-down ceremony held in their honor, marking the conclusion of over 3 decades of service to the state. A statement by the heads of service, Bode Agoro, described the ceremony as a celebration of commitment, perseverance, and exceptional public service, adding that every employee aspires to begin their career, well and end it stronger in good health and sound mind, as an achievement the celebrants had attained. Agoro welcomed dignitaries, families, friends, and well-wishers, stressing that the occasion was unique because it recognized individuals who had given more than 30 years of exemplary service to the people of the state, and also expressed the state government appreciation for the retirees' unquestionable loyalty, unwavering commitment, undiluted dedication, and untold sacrifices, affirming that their contributions had significantly shaped the growth and development of Lagos State. Agoro assured the retirees that their relationship with the state does not end with their exit from active service, stressing that their expertise would continue to be engaged through the Association of Lagos State Retired Heads of Service and the permanent secretaries, adding that their welfare remains a priority through the Post-Service Directorate. He also extended appreciation to the Deputy Governor, Dr. Obafemi Hamzat, for his support of public service initiatives, and commended the Permanent Secretary, Public Service Office, Sunkami Oyegbola, and her team for organizing a befitting ceremony. Speaking on behalf of the retired permanent secretaries, Adekanye Amudat expressed gratitude to the state government for the honor bestowed upon them, and assured that though retired, they remain not tired. Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu has urged both local and international investors to seize emerging opportunities in the state, citing Lagos' rising ranking in ease of doing business and major improvements in its investment landscape. According to a post cited on Lagos State's X account on Tuesday, Sanwo-Olu made the call during the inauguration of TY Logistics Park, FZE, an ultra-modern warehouse and trade complex located in Alaro City within the Lekki Free Zone. The project, developed by TY Holdings, he said, represents a significant addition to Nigeria's logistics and supply chain infrastructure, and described the development as a landmark investment that strengthens Lagos' economic narrative. According to him, the project reinforces Alaro City's transformation into a preferred industrial hub in sub-Saharan Africa, aligning with Lagos' broader economic agenda to modernize logistics, attract foreign investment, and drive sustainable growth. Sanwo-Olu also highlighted ongoing efforts to improve mobility and trade efficiency within the Lekki corridor, including plans for a dedicated road linking Lekki Port Dangote Refinery and Alaro City to reduce pressure on the Lekki-Ekpe Expressway, adding that Lagos is currently constructing what will become the largest food logistics hub in West Africa. In his remarks, Kefas commended the initiative and expressed pride in Taraba State's participation, adding that the project strengthens interstate economic cooperation, especially in the movement of agricultural produce from Taraba to Lagos processing hubs and markets. Osun State Governor Ademola Adeleke has denied allegations that he is responsible for the ongoing strike by the Judicial Staff Union of Nigeria, JUSUN, describing the claims as inaccurate and misleading. A statement issued on Tuesday in Osogbo and signed by Governor Adeleke's spokesperson, Rashid Olawale, said the governor's attention had been drawn to a letter dated 8 December 2025 from the Forum of Nigerian Bar Association NBA branches in Osun State, which accused him and his appointees to the Judicial Service Commission (JSC) of contributing to the paralysis in the judiciary. The government also said it was necessary to issue a rejoinder to correct the misrepresentations contained in the petition and to reaffirm Governor Adeleke's commitments to constitutional governance, the rule of law and effective functioning of the judiciary, adding that the governor remained concerned about the shutdown of judicial activities across the state. The government recorded that the governor intervened personally during the last strike when on February 6, 2024, the national president of JUSUN, Comrade Marwan Mustafa Adamu, met him to address the union's grievances, and the tripartite agreement was later signed between JUSUN, the state government and the judiciary. It listed the commitments in the agreement, including the convening of JSC meetings, reinstatement of suspended staff, payment of robe allowances, and development of a scheme of service for judiciary workers, and also alleged that the chief judge had refused to implement her obligations under the agreement, stressing that the responsibility to convene JSC meetings lay solely with the chief judge as chair of the commission. It also alleged that JUSUN had warned of the impending strike before its commencement, but that the chief judge neither engaged the union nor addressed the issues raised, and JUSUN reported that the chief judge traveled abroad at the onset of the strike, and JUSUN members were threatened with arrest during a scheduled meeting with the chief judge, which further worsened the situation. Elderly man Akiambe Hembao was hacked to death by his son Todwe during a heated financial dispute in Yamasu Mbajin community in Buruku local government area of Benue State. A statement posted on X by Zagazola Makama said the incident happened on Saturday when a suspect allegedly attacked his father with a machete for refusing to give him money, adding that residents rushed the victim to Agbecha Hospital in the Yamasu area of the community, where he died while receiving treatment. Divisional police officer in Buruku deployed operatives to the scene, documented the incident, and moved the corpse to the hospital mortuary, while the suspect was said to have fled the community immediately after the attack. When contacted, the State Police Command spokesperson Udeme Edet is here to speak on the matter. Kogi State government says security operatives have intercepted a group of underage children trafficked into the state in what is suspected to be a covert recruitment attempt for banditry training. A statement issued in the early hours of Tuesday by the Commissioner for Information and Communication, Kingsley Fanwo, said initial investigations revealed that the children were moved from different northern states under suspicious circumstances by adults who could not provide legitimate justification for their movement. Fanwo said arrests were made as security operatives intensified surveillance in the area, uncovering additional persons allegedly connected to the movement of the minors. He said Governor Ahmed Usman Ododo had directed the Ministry of Women Affairs and Social Development to take full custody of the underage victims and ensure their well-being, and also provide necessary psychosocial support pending the conclusion of investigations. Renewed clashes in Karim Lamido local government area of Taraba State have led to multiple deaths, just weeks after a committee set up by Governor Abu Kefa submitted its recommendations on how to resolve the long-running dispute. The latest violence, which occurred last week, reportedly began with a dispute over farmland ownership between the Shomo and Wakun communities in Usmanu village, and the attacks forced many residents to flee, leaving one's active settlements empty. A member of the Taraba State House of Assembly, representing Karim Lamido Abna Shitu, acknowledged the efforts of the state government but urged locals to support peace efforts, while the chairperson of Karim Lamido local government area, Virginia Baba Bambu, appealed to all sides to embrace dialogue. Also confirming the incident, the Taraba State Police Command said the situation is slowly improving. Police spokesperson ASP Victor Mshaliza confirmed that patrols are ongoing, though residents say armed groups still operate at night, while the curfew imposed on Karim Lamido town and more than 10 surrounding villages has now been eased. Kebbi State Governor Comrade Nasser Idris has rolled out new empowerment initiative targeted at improving the livelihoods of persons with disabilities across the state. Speaking through his deputy, Senator Omar Abakar Tafida, at the 2025 International Day for Persons with Disabilities celebration in Benin, Kebbi, the governor said 1,000 persons with disabilities received 100,000 naira each last year to establish small businesses, with another 1,000 beneficiaries set to receive the same support this year. He said the beneficiaries have successfully ventured into carpentry, welding, poultry, fish farming, and petty trading, and adding that many have become economically self-reliant and further ease mobility challenges. Meanwhile, following in the strides of her husband, the Kebbi First Lady Hajia Zainab Nasser Idris donated 1,000 bags of parboiled rice to persons with disabilities community, while the wife of the president, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, provided 250,000 naira each to 200 persons with disabilities. The senior special assistant to the president on special needs and equal opportunities, Comrade Muhammad Abba Lash, and the president of the Joint National Association of Persons with Disabilities, Comrade Abdullahi Ali Usman, attended the event and commended Kebbi State for its commitment. You're watching the Global News on Atlantic Television Network. We'll be back after this break. Do stay tuned. Welcome back. This is a Global News on Atlantic Television Network. And now to the rest of our stories. President Bola Tinubu, while welcoming the return of the 100 students, has immediately renewed efforts to secure the release of the remaining 115 pupils and their teachers, directing security agencies to intensify operations and ensure the safe return of all victims. This is coming after there was a wave of relief and jubilation swept through Niger State on Monday as 100 school children abducted from St. Mary's Private Catholic Primary and Secondary School in Papiri, Agwara local government area returned safely to their families after nearly 3 weeks in captivity. St. Mary's Private Catholic Primary and Secondary School in Papiri was invaded on November 21, 2005, with the Christian Association of Nigeria claiming 303 students were abducted. And by November 23, 50 of the school children escaped captivity and were reunited with their families. The proprietor of the schools, the Niger State CAN chairman, Reverend Bulus Yohana, confirmed that a total of 227 students, including 12 teachers, were abducted during the attack, with the return of 100 students, while 115 students and 12 students remain in captivity. The 100 rescued children, aged between 5 and 10, were welcomed by emotional parents, dignitaries, and security personnel in a heart-warming ceremony at the Niger State Government House. In his declaration of a security emergency on November 26, Tinubu ordered a surge of operations to protect schools, farms, and places of worship, insisting service chiefs coordinate closely with state governments. President Bola Tinubu has requested Senate approval to deploy troops to the neighboring Republic of Benin as part of a peace mission following a failed coup attempt against President Patrick Talon. The move comes 2 days after rogue soldiers briefly seized control of a TV station in Cotonou, Benin's economic capital, before being repelled by government forces, and a request was presented in a letter read by Senate President Godswill Akpabio during plenary on Tuesday, requesting for military support to stabilize the region. According to the letter, the request is in pursuance to Section 5, Subsection 5, Part 2 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended, seeking consultation with the National Defense Council, the consent of the Senate for the deployment of Nigerian troops to the Republic of Benin, stressing that the request is made by the government of Benin Republic for the exceptional and immediate provision of air support by the armed forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. The situation, as reported by the government of Benin, requires urgent external intervention, and the distinguished Senate considers the close ties of brotherhood and friendship which exist between Nigeria and the Republic of Benin, as well as the principles of collective security upheld within ECOWAS. Senate has approved President Bola Tinubu's request to deploy Nigerian troops to the Republic of Benin in support of efforts to restore peace and stability following last weekend's attempted coup. Senate President Godswill Akpabio, who disclosed this on Tuesday during plenary after lawmakers considered the request in the Committee of the Whole in line with Section 5, Part 11, said the senators unanimously voted in favor of the deployment, giving legislative backing for the regional security intervention. Akpabio described the decision as a step in the right direction, stressing that inability in any neighboring state poses a threat to the entire region, while underscoring Nigeria's responsibility to support its economic community of West African states, ECOWAS partner. Senate President Akpabio described the decision as a critical step towards protecting not only Nigeria's neighbors but also regional peace.
Will the Senate now confirm the actions of Mr. President in the deployment of the Air Force and troops to Benin Republic to ensure peace mission and restore order and sanity in that country, thereby saving Nigerians from thousands and thousands of refugees and also saving Nigerian borders from unnecessary criminality and disruption of peace and stability. Those in support of the confirmation of the approval, say aye. Those against, say nay. The approval is hereby confirmed. Yes, Senate Leader, let me thank the President for complying with the constitutional requirements, requesting the Senate to give him the approval and consent to deploy troops and deploy all necessary armament as requested by the Republic of Benin to ensure peace, stability, and to save democracy in that country. We believe that the President has taken a step in the right direction. He is acting constitutionally, And I also want to thank my colleagues for giving even the approval and the consent without much discussion, because we believe that this is a step in the right direction. So I believe the letter of consent will be sent to the president immediately. And we thank him for rising to the occasion, because injury to one is injury to all. And moreover, the impact this would have had on Nigeria in terms of security of our borders would have been terrible. So we congratulate him for rising to the occasion, and we wholly consent to his actions. Leader of the Senate.
This is coming after Tinubu had written to the Nigerian Senate requesting consent for the deployment of Nigerian troops to Benin Republic. Nigeria Governors Forum, NGF, says President Bola Tinubu's deployment of Nigeria's military assets to swiftly contain and reverse the coup attempt in Benin Republic was an exercise in the best interest of Nigeria. A statement on Monday by the NGF chairman and Kwara State Governor Abdurrahman Abdurazak said a successful coup in Benin would have far-reaching consequences on Nigeria, as the militants and hostile non-state actors in the Sahel region would take advantage to further destabilize Benin Republic. The forum therefore commends the president and the Nigerian armed forces for the timely intervention that have helped to restore stability and constitutional order to Benin. Nigerian Air Force has clarified reports surrounding the diversion of one of its aircraft, C-130 aircraft, to Burkina Faso, asserting that the action was a precautionary measure taken in strict accordance with standard safety and international aviation protocols. Nigeria Air Force also said personnel on board aircraft that landed in Bobo Dioulasso, Burkina Faso, are safe and receiving cordial treatment from Burkina authorities, adding that the aircraft, which was on a ferry mission to Portugal, made a precautionary landing after the crew detected a technical concern shortly after takeoff from Lagos on 8 December 2025. According to a statement on Tuesday by the Director of Public Relations and Information, Air Commodore Ehimen Ejodame, the crew diverted to the nearest airfield in line with standard safety procedures and international aviation protocols, and plans were underway to resume the mission as scheduled, adding that the Air Force remained committed to strict operational and safety standards. Bello Matawale, the Minister of State for Defense, says recent attacks against him were being pushed by people whose political ambitions for 2027 are threatened by the government's security reforms. A statement signed by his media aide Ibrahim Dosara said he is facing coordinated, malicious and politically sponsored attacks aimed at damaging his reputation and downplaying his work in strengthening Nigeria's security system. According to him, the public service demands courage, consistency and a commitment to truth, and accused his critics of trying to use sensitive security issues to create propaganda. He said those behind the attacks are politicians seeking relevance and trying to distract him from his job, adding that the allegations are baseless and the agenda is political and the truth remains clear despite the smear campaigns. Matawale further said banditry was already a deep-rooted crisis long before he became governor of Zamfara, and his administration introduced structured security measures, set up high-level committees, improved intelligence and prosecuted criminals, while compromised traditional rulers were removed and disarmament programs were implemented, and commended Nigeria's security agencies for their professionalism in rescue operations. United States delegation on fact-finding mission over alleged Christian genocide in Nigeria was in Benue State, where they interacted with Catholic bishops and the thief traditional ruler. U.S. Congressman Riley Moore, who disclosed this in a post on X on Monday, expressing strong support for thief and Christian leaders from Benue State, and the U.S. delegation and Nigerian officials examined concrete steps and actions that he believes could improve security if carried out fully. He also referred to the rescue of 100 abducted Catholic school children, thanking the Nigerian government and the President Bola Tinubu, adding that there is an openness and willingness on the part of the Nigerian government to work with the United States to tackle these critical issues. Troops of the armed forces of Nigeria have rescued not fewer than 318 kidnapped victims and also dismantled several terror enclaves and the surrender of dozens of criminal elements in the month of November as intensified nationwide operations received new momentum. Major General Michael Onoja, the Director, Defense Media Operations, who was speaking to journalists in Abuja, said communities long trapped in fear. The month's operations marked significant relief, saying many victims who had spent weeks and months in captivity were reunited with their families as troops overran hideouts used by terrorists, bandits, and extremist groups. According to operational data released for November, scores of terrorists and bandits were killed, while many others arrested, and over 69 fighters and their family members surrendered amid sustained military pressure. Security forces also recovered arms, ammunition, and equipment while disrupting criminal activities across major theaters, and also foiled oil theft attempts valued at 217.6 million naira, representing 201,700 liters of crude oil and 88,177 liters of AGO, and deactivated 16 illegal refining sites, threatening the nation's economy and environment.
The armed forces remain committed to ensuring that every part of Nigeria enjoys peace, security, and freedom from fear. Despite these challenges, significant progress was recorded. Many criminal elements have been neutralized or apprehended. Arms and ammunition have been recovered, hostages have been rescued, and several enclaves previously occupied by terrorists and bandits have been dismantled. We acknowledge that these successes would not have been possible without the courage and professionalism of Armed Forces of Nigeria personnel, working in conjunction with the Nigerian police and other security agencies, as well as the cooperation of all Nigerians who provide timely and actionable information. Accordingly, in the month of November, several terrorists, bandits, and extremists and other criminal elements were arrested, scores were neutralized, and over 69 of them and their family members surrendered. Similarly, 318 kidnapped victims were also rescued. Troops also foiled oil theft worth 217,664,618 naira only.
Onoja also assured residents on the outskirts of Abuja and its surrounding states of safety.
The issue of the bad boys being on the outskirts of Abuja. Abuja is the federal capital of Nigeria, and Abuja has a robust security architecture with all the headquarters of all the security agencies being located in Abuja. We also have a very extensive operational network of security agents operating in Abuja. So while those boys remain at the outskirts, I want to assure you and the public that I'm sure they will not be able to threaten us in Abuja. In any case, the Ministry of the Federal Capital Territory, in conjunction with the necessary or relevant security agencies, are also aware of the issue of those boys being out on the outskirts and are taking all the necessary action to make sure that they do not constitute any threat to anybody, particularly during this festive period.
Military authorities attributed the successes to the bravery and professionalism of Armed Forces of Nigeria personnel, support from the Nigerian police and other security agencies, and crucial cooperation from citizens who continue to provide timely and actionable information. President of the Court of Appeal, Justice Monica Dongban Mensem, has urged Nigerians to support allegations of corruption against the judicial officers with credible evidence rather than resorting to petitions and public condemnation without proof. Justice Dongban Mensem made the call at the Court of Appeal 2025/2026 legal year ceremony held at its headquarters in Abuja. She said the judiciary was increasingly subjected to unsubstantiated allegations, stressing that the proper channel for addressing dissatisfaction with court decisions is through the appellate process, and called for improved welfare for judges, especially in the area of accommodation, stressing that judges require good housing for their safety. She cautioned the public against begrudging judicial officers when they receive government support, adding that judges are restricted from engaging in private business and rely solely on state support, and also advised litigants to pursue appeals instead of filing petitions against judges. She commended legal practitioners for their role in strengthening justice delivery and urged lawyers to improve the quality of their research and court submissions, and further called for a constitutional amendment to increase the number of justices of the Court of Appeal, decrying the backlog of cases awaiting judicial attention. Now to some business news. National Institute of Marketing of Nigeria has called for collaboration between industry practitioners and academics in shaping the face of future marketing to enhance sustainable development in the country. 18 News completes this report.
National Institute of Marketing of Nigeria has called for collaboration between industry practitioners and academics in shaping the face of future marketing to enhance sustainable development in the country. President of NIMN, Dr. Bolajoko Bayo Ajayi, made the call during the NIMN Port Harcourt end-of-year event tagged Sip, Bite and Chat. Dr. Bayo Ajayi said the institute is intentional in buying a membership program that will deepen the collaboration between the industry and academics in training future marketers for the country. She said, upon my assumption to the office, I noticed a skill gap and I have interacted with marketing practitioners and academics, and we are going to introduce a robust mentorship program for our students to fill the skills gap in the industry. The president in the company of the registrar and secretary to the council, Mrs. Thelma Oko, said Port Harcourt has provided an enabling environment for marketing practice and commended the Port Harcourt chapter for its outstanding contribution to the development of marketing in the country.
And I can say, freely that it doesn't cut across everywhere like that. Most places you have to beg, you have to cajole, you have to plead to get the support of members to contribute. But here, we are seeing people giving their facilities for a child. Somebody bringing cake every month, and just everybody trying to chip in here and there. And I want to commend everyone for your contribution to the growth of the institute. Because when you do it for Port Harcourt, you also do it for the institute at large. And I believe strongly that our growth as an institute will come from the chapter. And I can say that Port Harcourt is setting a record as a model chapter that we can learn from, that can be replicated across other.
In her welcome address, the chairman Port Harcourt chapter, Dr. Evelyn Wosu, said the institute is poised to collaborate with stakeholders to ensure better delivery of marketing education. Dr. Wosu, who is the zonal director of NTA Lagos Station, pledged the chapter's determination to introduce welfare program that will build the capacity of marketers in the states.
Our chapter was recognized as the most developed chapter at the 2025 AGM in Rio, a testament to the tireless efforts of our members and leadership strategic direction. We have scholars among us, professors and professionals who are excelling in their respective fields, bringing prestige and academic prominence to our chapter. Recently celebrated the landmark appointment. One of our most committed members was appointed the Pro-Chancellor, underscoring the quality of leadership and the caliber of professionals within our fold.
Earlier, the president and chairman of the Institute's council, Dr. Bolajoko Bayo Ajayi, paid a congratulatory visit to the pro-chancellor and chairman governing council of the Ignatius Adjunct University of Education, Chief Right Honorable Dr. Chinyere Igwe, describing him as a pillar of support to the institute. She called for collaboration with the university to provide an enabling environment for marketing students to sit for the institute examinations.
A long-term plan for growing and reinventing itself, is bound to die at some point. And so, a critical lever for us, I've mentioned to the chapter and also student membership. So, in terms of pipeline into NIMN, the student membership is the starting point where they have to run through exams and all of that. And since we came in, we've been trying to see what we can do to actually make NIMN attractive to students in a way that once they get locked in, then they are in there for the long haul. The same way you find that happening with ICANN and some other professional body.
In his response, the Pro-Chancellor and Chairman of Governing Council, Dr. Chinyere Igwe, said that the university will collaborate with the institute to build the capacity of the students. Dr. Igwe, who is also a fellow of the institute, advised the institute to consider hosting its national marketing conference in the states.
Your requests are what is at our fingertips, because Mr. Chukwu, the head of table of the Mokando Consortium. Let me do a brief introduction of Mokando Consortium. It's comprised of academicians who are involved in the field of research.
So, and those here are those from Grace Ajun University in the Department of Marketing. It would have been out of place that the head of marketing ecosystem or communication in Nigeria is coming there, they are not here. So that's why Makando consultant is fully, adequately and capably represented.
High point of the 2025 NIMN CPIT and chart was the decoration and presentation of award to Dr. Igwe as a pillar of support to the marketing profession in Rivers State and Nigeria at large, and to the President and Chairman of Council on her emergence as first female president of the Institute. The event was attended by industry practitioners, scholars, students, major stakeholders, and media. Ajerunwa Samuel, Atlantic Television Network, Port Harcourt.
Central Bank of Nigeria has confirmed that only 82 bureau de change operators currently hold valid licenses to operate in the country. A statement issued by the bank's spokesperson, Hakama Sidi Ali, said the approvals were granted in line with its powers under the Bank and Other Financial Institutions Act 2020 and the 2024 Regulatory and Supervisory Guidelines for bureau de change operations. The CBN said the final licenses became effective on November 27, 2025, warning that any individual or company operating a BDC without a valid license is in violation of Section 57 of BOFIA 2020, adding that the list of licensed operators will be updated regularly on its website, while urging the public to avoid dealing with unlicensed foreign exchange dealers. And that's the global news for tonight. Before we go, another look at the major stories. Rivers State Governor Siminalayi Fubara defects to APC. Tinubu orders rescue of 115 pupils in Niger State. Senate approves troops deployments to Benin Republic. CBN approves 82 licensed BDC operators in Nigeria. ECOWAS declares state of emergency. Oshimen set for Monaco clash and Mubat's father seeks transparent testing. I am favor. Chief Question Michael, thank you for watching. You can follow us on our social media platforms. On Twitter now, X at Atlantic TV Net, on Facebook and YouTube at Atlantic Television Network, and on Instagram at Atlantic TV Network. And don't forget, peace and unity are the pathways to progress. So do have a wonderful night rest.